what is going on. Whether it's the NHS or whether it's the education system, whether it's local councils, refugees, we still have potholes. We don't even have decent 4G coverage in this country. Whether it's all of the conflicts and so on that everybody has, conflicts, division, the whole thing's just a bloody mess. But the reason why all this is happening, really, you can blame all of these other people, the big guys in the sky, the people that are running everything. But at the end of the day, the reason why it's happening is because of you. It's you. The future is your fault. Maybe the future is our fault. It is us that have made this happen. And everybody's very quick to try and blame everybody else, someone, the World Economic Forum. Oh, it's Rishi who doesn't have his shit together. It's Liz Truss and the Conservatives that don't have their shit together. It's the red team, the blue team. It's the global elites. This is true to a certain extent, but the fact is, the reason why they are there is because of us. It's because of us. The future's our fault. It's ours. You didn't vote. Most of you didn't vote. You couldn't be bothered. Instead, you said that, well, it's all going to be fine. Everything is, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to pay attention. I'm too busy to actually pay attention to what is going on around with the education system, teaching my kids to masturbate at primary school. I'm too busy to pay attention to the fact that housing prices are completely out of control. I'm too busy to pay attention to the government passing restrictive laws over censoring basic freedom of speech issues, in particular with the online harms bill. How many of you even know about what the online harms bill is and what the implications are for creating a highly controlled state in the UK? Most of you don't know. You don't. And yet you will be focused on your families, on your kids, on preparing yourself to have kids, on building a life for yourself. But instead, what's happened, by focusing purely on that and assuming that the government is going to be kind of okay, it's one team or the other. What you've done is you've been sleeping at the wheel. And the people that are in charge have known that you're sleeping at the wheel. I don't think they didn't really realize this until COVID came along. And when, after COVID, at the beginning, there was this, don't worry, don't panic, you can wear a mask if you want to, etc. But then I think the government was super surprised to find out in all the newspapers the next day that everybody completely lost their shit, saying that the government was irresponsible and so on. The culture had changed. And the government was surprised at the amount of control that it had over the population. The population has become, mostly with millennials, has become one that is highly censorious, that is deeply divisive, that is interested in the greater good. And unfortunately, almost none of them have any real understanding of history, even recent history, whether here in the UK or elsewhere. And so they naively assume that all of the things that they've had pumped into their head through a completely broken university system are actually true. That climate change is going to explode the planet in a ball of flames and we have to do something. We've got people crying on TV. There are children being made mentally ill by an education system that claims to be obsessed with mental health because they recognize it's a big problem, yet they are the very ones that are creating the problem. Whether it's climate change and the anxiety around that, whether it's the COVID restrictions and so on, all of these people have taken control of the country slowly over time because all of us, the population here in the UK, have been asleep at the wheel. You've been asleep. The future is our fault. It's ours. And I think that it's important for everybody to understand that, for us to understand that it's actually us that creates this situation. It's not someone else. It's not. At the end of the day, it's up to us. It's not up to the powers that be. You either vote or you don't. You either protest or you don't. You either have a conversation about it, you inform yourself because you recognize that you're part of a community. And so you should be interested in what the hell is going on around you, but you're not. Everybody's got their heads up their own arses because there's this assumption that everyone is making that, well, you know, everything's just going to be just fine. It's been fine always. Sometimes it's the red team, sometimes it's the blue team. You know, we sort of muddle along. And the people in charge have simply interpreted this as this lack of engagement as, well, a kind of consent, right? You don't complain. You don't really express your opinions. You know, we tend not to, especially here in the UK. And so they have seen this as well. Nobody's making a big fuss about it, so fuck it. We'll start pushing through what we want because we are the university-educated elite, and we're the ones that understand what's going on in the world. I've been told my whole life that, you know, I have a superior education and therefore I'm in a position to be able to dictate and engineer a better world. These are the people that you voted for. These are the people that have got into power and passed laws, and the people that are running the education system, the people that are running the civil service, and they are now living a completely different life to everybody else in the country. There is a small minority of people, a minority of people in this country who are having their hands on the levers of power. And they have no idea what is going on because you don't ever let them know. You don't let them know. We don't make a fuss. We assume that everything is going to be okay. And we put together videos, we watch videos and so on making our lives better, on looking for things about how we can improve ourselves, which is all well and good. But at the end of the day, the space that we swim in, the space that we exist in, is fucked. It's not good for us. In many ways, the kind of people at this particular time, the kind of people that are running things in the country, many of them, they hate us. A bit like how some people talk about the Labour Party. The Labour Party are traditionally for the working class, but they hate the working class. They kind of despise them. Gammons, racists, the uneducated plebs. They look down on us. This is a disgusting thing, and it's a much wider held set of beliefs than you'd think. This is a really, really bad situation. But the reason why it's happened is because All of us have been asleep. We haven't paid attention to what's going on. We're getting fucked over repeatedly. Every area is now a problem. We don't just have a tumour in the government. The entire country and all of the systems within it have a kind of blood cancer. It's something that is distributed throughout the system, throughout the companies, institutions, from dentistry and primary schools, saturated through the civil service, the Foreign Office, everything. The banks, everywhere. They are drenched in this blood cancer because of us. Because we haven't made a fuss. Nobody's done anything. Everybody just continues to go to work as if everything is going to be just fine. Well, as if this stuff is details. This isn't details anymore. How bad is it going to get before people actually get it through their bloody heads what has actually happened? I think that we are actually past the point where we can easily extricate ourselves from this. It's not going to take a new government to be in power. It's not going to take that. There is this sort of feeling that a lot of people have that I talk to, that there's this looming catastrophe. And there is this strange way that society's come to correct themselves. And we will correct it. I have no doubt about that at all. I'm actually very positive about the future. But the problem is, as ever, it's timing. How much do you need to get fucked? How much do you need to lose before you actually realise, should probably pay attention to this? Or, maybe I really should sign that petition. Or I really should, you know what? We should go out, we should take action on stopping this particular thing. I really should write to the MP. Instead, we do nothing. Fuck all. We don't do anything. It's fucking ridiculous. And yet now you're sitting around watching Netflix whilst essentially you're getting savagely fucked in the ass over this because you're letting them do it, because you can't be asked, because there's nothing I can do. Well, you're wrong. You're part of something. You're part of a community. You're part of a country. It's about bloody time that we paid attention to the fact that this is our country. It's ours. It belongs to us. And it's up to us to actually get involved and do something about it. I'm baffled by everybody pointing fingers left, right, and centre. But it's you. It's me. It's everyone out there. All the normal people. You guys, everyone's just got to get their shit together. What's it going to take? How much is it going to take? How much are you going to lose? How much bullshit are you willing to have your child pumped with at school? How much is it going to take before you actually realise that, well, you know what? I should probably do something about this. Well, this is outrageous. Why don't you say something to the school? Well, I don't agree with this. Then sort it out. Do something about it. Make it known. Get involved. Get involved in some way. Learn about what is going on. Pay attention to a few things that are new. It's interesting. It is part of being a bloody civilian. there is a lack of civil society because we're not involved. We're just watching. We're watching these lunatics do these crazy things, and we're just totally incredulous about what they're doing. Oh my God, like it's some sort of spectator sport. And to a certain extent it is, but we have influence over what's going on. You need to get involved. You need to be paying attention to things. You need to be a little bit more switched on about what's happening. As I said earlier, it's no good just having a situation where, if you're a young guy, for example, where you want to be fitter and stronger and achieve better things, but the water that you're swimming in is shit. You are not going to build a good life in a fucking sewer. You need to pay attention to what is going on in the outside environment to make something happen. It doesn't take much time. But you won't. People are not doing anything. It's mental. Sort it out.